with Puck against Minigun. And here we go. Top left-hand position as the blue Protoss, it is Puck. And in the bottom right-hand position as the red Protoss, it's Minigun. Both on Team Root, as I was saying before. And we'll see. Ghost user, I feel like... I don't know. Both these players have shown very inconsistent results throughout their WCS career. I feel like Minigun, I mean, he's been doing great. He took out Apocalypse, who has made it into Premier League this time, like 30 times last season. Even, I think he played him in Challenger League as well, coming into this season and took him out. I mean, there's so many cases where Minigun has been playing really, really well, and I feel like he loses in positions where he should never be losing. In different brackets, in different tournaments, in even against in the round of 32 last season or the round of 16 last season, I felt like he should have gone a lot farther based on his build or just the little advantage that he got, but he's just not able to seal the deal.
I think when he gets ahead, I don't think he feels like he's ahead, just because I don't think he's too confident in his ability against players that he thinks are better than him, and I think that's just a hurdle he has to overcome on his own.
I see. Well, both players, I mean, have their own unique styles. We'll see how it actually influences the game. I'm pretty sure we'll have very similar openings, though, as there is a very early probe scout coming out here for Puck. And nothing too much. Pretty standard play overall from both of these players.
I think one of them will do pressure with a lot of stalkers, maybe a quick 3 gates pressure with 5 or 6 stalkers. That's pretty common in this matchup, and I think Puck likes to play kind of like that. He likes to be aggressive in an early game, and I think he also likes Stargate, from what I've seen it from the past in PvP.
I feel like 3-gate is like the standard keeping you honest type of build, similar to how 4-gate used to be in Wings of Liberty. It's like people always 4-gated just to make sure that you weren't playing so greedy, and that's how 3-gate kind of is right now, but not so extreme where it just ends the game. It has the ability to end the game, but overall it's just like, hey, make enough units, okay, then you can expand. I feel like most of the time, though, it's so risky. And I say that because I feel like Twilight Council or Robotics Facility is just such a better choice than just going 3-gate. I don't know how you feel on that, Mike.
Yeah, I think so too. I think 3-gate, it has to kind of punish like a quick Nexus build, where it usually puts you a bit behind just because your tech is later, and it can't do too much damage against either a Stargate or against a Robo if they kind of scout what's up and just play against it correctly. But it can punish a build like we're seeing from Puck. A quick gateway build like this, I don't think it's possible to hold against a 3-gate, just because you have 1 photon overcharge when the Nexus finishes, they wait until that's done, and they just have too many stalkers for you to defend.
And look at this. Gateways are popping up, and this has been all Chrono Boost allocated towards this Warp Gate. Again, another Chrono Boost. Each Chrono Boost reduces the time that it takes for Warp Gate to finish by 10 seconds. That's a really nice little boost there. And this will be the 3-gate pressure. Funny enough, punishing the one Nexus expand that you were just talking about, Mike.
Do you think there's any chance Puck holds his expansion against this? In games I see, it's pretty much always killed by the 3-gating player. If you go for an expansion that quick, there'll be 1 overcharge and then they just have too many units and the Nexus dies.
There is a chance, but you have to have the right composition. Sentries are actually, or a sentry is a necessity from Minigun. He has to get 1 so he can section off this ramp and then just isolate the Nexus by itself.
Yeah, that's usually what I see. I see like 5 or 6 stalkers, then they make a sentry. Once the overcharge is done, they force for the ramp and just kill the Nexus.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably how this is going to play out.
But Puck is doing this right. I like what we're seeing so far. He's just pushing out, not using the photon overcharge just yet. Pylon is going to be placed on the high ground. That's going to help out so much with the reinforcements. And now Mothership before getting in here. What can he do? And there's the sentry. So he needs to play something. And there is a Pylon in a good position, by the way. I want to mention that Puck is really smart with his placement. Putting the Pylon here allows him to warp into the low ground. Oh, nice force fields!
Oh, those are so good at force fields. He's going to lose all of these units.
Yes, he is, but is it going to be enough? He's trying to get an Immortal out ASAP, and maybe not. He just kills 2 of these one of these stalkers. He tried to kill that sentry there so that the Immortal can get into the fray. And remember, it's going to expire. This Photon Overcharge is going to expire around 7:30, I think that's when he placed it. Oh, we'll see. Oh! And it looks like the Immortal is not able to join up yet, but additional sentries are going to be chrono boosted in here. And the timing is going to be when this finishes. And there it is. There's going to be a big force field yet again.
Yeah,
and
he has to attack now. This Immortal, it can't get down to help out those units in the bottom of the ramp. And I think it's going to be tough for him to hold. He only has a couple of Zealots. He only has 2 Stalkers.
Oh. Puck has to back up. Nice time warp. Now focusing down on this Nexus. Going back into the time warp. Needs to be so careful. The Immortal wants to get into the fray. This is a lot of units, though, coming out from Puck. It's a little bit scary. Is it going to be enough, though? A lot of Stalkers, another force field on that ramp, and things are looking pretty good, I would say, for Puck. As the I think
Minigun is way too much, and he's just warping into the sentry, keeping that Immortal out. And he has a lot more Stalkers than Puck has, and the Stalkers is what's mostly doing the damage here. The Zealots couldn't get close enough to do anything.
And Puck actually used some force fields to trap his own units inside. Now finally the Immortal. No, the Immortal is not going to get into this, as the rest of the units, the 2 Stalkers and the 2 sentries, will go down. Beautifully played by Minigun, utilizing those sentries. You know, a lot of people, it's hard to do that. When you're going gateway pressure, you normally want to be going all Stalkers, but that's just the slight difference in this build. You have to get sentries to section that off to stop those money units. I almost feel like the robotics facility on the low ground is maybe a potential way to defend against that, but it's still incredibly hard.
I think that's what you have to do if you want to defend. I think maybe you could have held if you had it on the low ground, but that's just so uncommon. We almost never see it.
And it only holds against that because even Stargate all-ins, you die, right? Like, it's a pretty indefensible... I shouldn't say that, but it's a hard defense right there. From here, Minigun is just going to take his expansion and take the economic lead, and from here, he's just looking for a mass and kill.
Yeah, I'd even say it's almost an impossible defense with the Robo on the high ground to defend against that. Pretty much every game I see this situation, the Protoss with the Nexus always loses the Nexus. I think maybe their correct choice is just to give up the expansion, rely that you have the tech advantage, and then try to re-expand kind of soon. I mean, it's hard because they can force field and keep you out, but defending that base is hard too, so it's just a tough choice.
I like what we're seeing. The elevator tactic that we just saw from Puck, he's positioning the Warp Prism perfectly. That is actually over the low ground, but it's still in range that he can load up into the Warp Prism. Still, he's attacking into a base that has more Immortals than him.
And Photon Overcharge.
Photon Overcharge,
and
more
units.
sentries, more Zealots, more Stalkers, and more economy. So it's like, well, you're up against more units, and you need to push quick, or else if you wait just another 20 seconds, there's, you know, a lot more units warping in.
And his Warp Prism with the 2 Immortals just got scouted halfway across the map. So the 5 Stalkers are back in the main base to stop that. And I think it's going to be tough for him to get anything done in this position. He's expanding again now, but it's just so late compared to Minigun's expansion.
But I don't know. I mean, we've seen Crank do this really well with the Immortal, but nope, that's going to be shut down really nicely by Minigun this time around. Oh, wow, 1 Stalker is going to go down, 2 Stalkers go down, and that's going to force Minigun back up here. And he's just going to take out this 1 pylon that was powering both these gateways, so nicely done by Puck. Just these small little things to get him back in the game. He's doing it right. And Minigun is also having the right defense, just pulling back ever so slightly. Not with all of his units. That would be terrible, because then he just gets force field. Robotics Bay going down yet again for Minigun. Let's take a look at the income tab. 38 harvesters to 31, so you can even see Minigun is pulling farther and farther ahead in the expansion count, or the pro count. Nice little warp in over here, trapping the Immortals inside with some Zealots, knowing that they don't do good damage. Wow, this is fantastic. Now Minigun pushing out, trying to trap all these units in, but Grey Force Field's defending. Oh my goodness! Puck doing everything right, killing 2 Immortals for just a couple of Zealots here, depowering a couple of these gateways, and now putting on additional pressure. Maybe even taking out another one of these Stalkers. Almost. This is awesome play. Units lost hub, let's take a look at it. It's actually very, very similar.
Yeah, he's just perfectly exploiting Minigun's attempts to defend against his Warp Prism drop.
And look at the supplies. 71, 72 supplied, 87 Minigun is currently supply capped. Army tab showing very, very similar very similar investments. But of course, the quality overall, the quality for Minigun is still a lot better from the opening stages, having the expansion up for so much longer, having double gas a lot longer than his opponent. All these things just add up so incredibly much. But, I mean, is this going to be enough for Puck to get back into the game, Ghost User?
I think it could. Although Minigun still has a very nice lead, I think Puck has made it close enough that he has a chance if he plays well from this point on. And
Wow.
I thought that he was completely out for the count.
Me too.
But he just perfectly exploited Minigun's defense. Again, at first Minigun had those 5 stalkers to defend, but he dropped and picked a couple of them off. And then Minigun was like, okay, I'll leave 2 Immortals up there. 2 Immortals can defend.
Oh god, Minigun is able to kill
he got
the
it.
War Prison that had a single Immortal inside. Now will only lose a single Stalker and has his own attack coming in here. Really big misstep from Puck, not looking and just going directly into some Stalker fire.
And across the map, Minigun's going for the same kind of drop.
And he could depower a lot over here. Actually, no. It looks like he's
Buildings
well
keep
fortified.
building even if they're depowered, so it's not a big deal.
No, but more importantly, I mean, he has the right positions on his pylons. So, good job over there. Maybe not for these gateways, because that pylon just dying. It looks like Puck will be able to defend that. 90 supply to 111. And here he comes in again. Minigun did research that gravitic drive, making those Immortals a little bit faster. And it is going to be the classic Archon Immortal against Mass Colossus. Third base has already been taken for Minigun. And no further defense, so it looks like it might be a 2-base timing coming out from Puck. But with Minigun just constantly putting on the pressure with these Immortals, I feel like it makes it so difficult without Blink to really take advantage of this situation. Like,
Yeah.
he can never move out, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for him to move out, as long as Minigun doesn't mess up somehow and lose his Warp Prism. Just because as soon as you move out, he drops the 2 Immortals, warps
Exactly.
in like 8 Zealots, and then you can warp in Zealots too, but it's still tough if he warps them in the correct position.
Alright, well, Phoenixes are popping out here. Well, hallucinated Phoenix, I should say. Just to scout out and see what's going on.
Minigun's army is just a lot bigger
Yeah.
than Puck's. It's going to be tough for Puck. I guess he can try to take a third a lot later, but still.
I mean, that's not the situation you want to be in, but I like the third location. It makes a lot more sense. In that, if you want to attack that third base, you're doing it in very open grounds, instead of going over here where if Minigun ever gets positioned right here, he's going to be kiting all day long. Time warps are so much more important there. And most importantly, it's a small little funnel that Zealots just get eaten alive. But again, going in here with the Immortals, doing a great job now focusing down on these forges.
Maybe he
on the
can
one
get it
forge.
too. I think
Yeah,
he
I
is.
think he can. Just one more shot and there it goes. Forge has to be replaced. That means +2 will be much faster for Minigun than Puck. But oh, Minigun, be careful. Okay. That was overly exaggerated. I thought for sure he was going to lose that, but there were
Yeah.
no Stalkers in that army.
Overestimated the damage of Archons a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Well, I used to play Zerg for a while, right?
yeah.
You feel how good Archons are.
Yeah, Archons are pretty good. They have a lot of hit points, they don't die quickly to stuff, and they do pretty good damage, especially against units with less hit points and light armor type.
Yeah, and especially against Zealots, which are probably the most important thing when you're up against, well, a high composition of Immortals. But if you have those Archons mixed in, they kill them just so incredibly fast. Again, the same Warp Prism coming in here and doing an incredible work.
Yeah,
But
and there's not
not doing anything. Okay,
there's
whatever.
not any way that Puck can kill his Warp Prism though, it's just so annoying. It flies around the entire game, doesn't die, drops the Immortals all the time, keeps him from moving out if he wants to, keeps him at home, and it just also provides scouting. As opposed to observers, which he can deny if he has his own observer, not much of a way he can deny this Warp Prism. Unless he has Blink or Stargate units, you know?
Yeah, and he's not getting any Blink Stalkers. He's not getting any Stalkers. I don't think he has many Stalkers in this composition at all. Actually, no Stalkers at all. But a big fight is brewing over here in the middle of the map. Now taking out one of the sentries. Nicely done. Trying to charge away, or excuse me, trying to just back away. It's going to be difficult. The supplies are looking at 153 to 189, a massive advantage. And fighting on this high ground will help out quite a bit. You need to kind of have the jump start on these Colossus. But it looks like he's just backing up further and further and further. And this is a tough position for Puck to be in.
Yeah, I think he just wants to delay the engagement as much as he can, get a couple more warp ins,
Oh,
but he
no.
can't because Minigun's pushing forward.
Yeah,
so.
and here's where the time warps just come into play so incredibly well. Minigun going to keep pushing up forward. There's a nice feedback on that one mothership, but when it comes down to it, it's just going to be too much. There's too much supply backing these Colossus. They're not able to get shots. The Immortals aren't able to get shots on the Colossus, and that means the AoE is going to go unhindered till the very end whenever they go to engage. 134 supply to 195, so you can see Puck has reduced in supply, Minigun increasing in supply.
And now Minigun's taking that money position below the ramp too.
Yes, sir. And here is the last fight. As you can see, everything just gets melted away. GG. Puck will tap out, and Minigun is going to